Okie pokey weirdos, I'm Rev, and I made sure to wear some green today because today is day one of my Pidge Voltron armor build. I do want to make some other Pidge cosplays as well, but the armor is first because I have most of the materials for this costume already. Firstly, let's get to how I have broken down this costume so I know exactly which pieces I am making, buying, or doing a combination of the two. I start by opening Google Slides and building a template to match the character's color, style, and personality. This helps me get more into the mood of the character, as well as helps me begin looking at reference photos to get an idea of what I'm doing with this build. With probably more than 90% of the characters I make, I use this method by putting the character in the center and then drawing lines outward from head to toe, marking out each item that I will need, like Pidge's glasses, wig, black bodysuit,
where is my super suit?
Armor, and so on. I also use these slides to document my progress by marking each day that I work on the project and putting a date and time for when I start and when I finish per day, often leaving myself little notes of what I did, as well as some images of what I finished by the end of the day. And yes, I did record this by setting my camera off to the side and recording the screen. Could I have screen recorded on my laptop? Maybe. However, with both of my two laptops, neither one of them really like screen recording. One claims that there is not enough storage on the laptop to do so, even though it is at about 54% storage. And for the other laptop, it constantly glitches out footage to the point where I lose about 20 minutes of footage somewhere in the middle almost every single time. So, until I figure out what screen recording app actually works for at least one, if not both of my laptops, this is what we're working with. Please stick with me. Here is my process on how I break down a costume. I often also have a little chat with someone about the design of the character, normally that person being my sibling Sable, working out what pieces I might want to include or change, depending on how they look on my body. I love that it is a hand-drawn animation and it is so freaking simple. There aren't all these teeny tiny details like on Jack Sparrow. And of course, chatting with someone usually helped remind me of elements that I might have forgotten when I was mapping out the build by myself. Okay, I think I've labeled everything. Oh, black bodysuit. Ah, Pidge, get back over there. I found Pidge's specific color of green pretty dang difficult to find in fabric. However, I did want to use green fabric so that I could cover the EVA foam instead of painting it, i.e. fewer toxic fumes, as well as a lack of brush strokes on my project. I want the whole thing to look smooth. Therefore, I started using hex codes to try and find a fabric that matched the best with Pidge's costume. I do now have the fabric, and it is a little bit of a brighter green than what I was going for. I did order the fabric from Fabric Direct. However, I am a lot more happy with a brighter green than a darker green, because I do want this color to be eye-catching, but I don't want it to be the neon lime green that I so often see with merchandise for Pidge. I have my whole list spelled out right here, as well as being color-coded, because what are we? Animals? I found it absolutely hilarious that I started color coding it based on my own practices of how I make these lists. And then remembered Pidge's whole color coding running joke. We are way too much alike. Alright, let's get this color coded. And everything I already have or I have just finished ordering. So it is either out for delivery and I haven't gotten it yet, or it's done, or it still needs to be built. The glasses and the wig were ordered, as was the green fabric, for the puff sleeves. That green fabric will also go over the helmet. I'm gonna give the Bayard a little marker here of yellow because I ordered a couple pieces that go with the Bayard. I'm going to make my own for the most part. The black bodysuit I already have. I might alter the sizing a little bit once we get there, but I am not there at the moment. But I do have it, so we're saying it is done for now, because I might not even alter the sizing. All right, everything else needs to be built, and I can go through my checklist and make all the things. I would also eventually like to make a rover as well as a hacking screen to somehow attach to my forearm armor, but we're not there yet. This is just the build for the armor. I'll have to get to all the fun little accessories and additives later on. I have also been drooling over this green Pidge Bayard that I found on Etsy. It looks amazing, it lights up. From what I see on the reviews, it's pretty dang sturdy, so I'm gonna keep an eye on that one. I really had to go digging to find a picture of Pidge with her frickin' helmet. They always want her with the glasses, so they have her without her helmet. Constantly. This is very helpful. This also gives me more of a look at the Bayard as well, so I can start building that. I do eventually want to make a retractable one, make it out of a retractable dog leash, but I am going to make a basic one first so that I get the shape and build down, then I can start fiddling with it. Firstly, make a stagnant Bayard so I know what I'm doing with this thing, then have fun and make it move. Maybe even light up. Maybe. I'm getting more reference images and I was just like, hold up. This armor cuts off at the green part in this image. However, in this image, the wrist cuff sits a little lower, and we have a hand guard. Oh, what the heck? So is this one. But these two are just green. We can't tell on this one. I'll have to keep researching images and see if I'm putting a white hand guard over the top of my hand, like that, or if I'm cutting it off at the green. I would prefer to cut it off at the green, because then that's less EVA foam for me to deal with. We shall see. And this is why I pulled together so many reference photos to start the project before starting the full-on build, because there are so many different variations, especially to animated characters, that you don't normally notice unless you're looking at the images side by side. I also needed to get some images of what the jetpacks look like so that I can get this attached correctly. But that's still not the greatest image of the jetpack. I'm gonna keep looking. Something I very commonly do is scrub through YouTube videos on slow-mo, watching the specific character I'm working on very, very closely to see all the teeny tiny details of their costume. That's the image I got earlier. Aha! Here we go. I can use that. And now I have what your jetpack looks like. I had to go digging, but I found it. Okay. Cool. I think we can do some patterning now. I've gotten a lot of reference images. I've mapped out all the things. I have a to-do list. Time to roll. And we'll roll on with the rest of this build in later videos because I am currently working on making the pattern for this armor. I thank you ever so very much for sticking around this long into the video because those watch hours really help a creator out. If you'd like to follow along with this build in real time, you can join the madness on Patreon or Ko-fi. Doing so will also give you access to old Google Slides showing how I've designed and created past projects. I would greatly appreciate those subs, coms, thumbs, and a ding. Remember to share this video with your very best friend in the whole wide world, or even someone you just barely know, because it really does help support my content and crazy creations. The very creations that I make in hopes of inspiring others to do the same. And welcome to the madness!